Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Brad McLeod. I am actually working on the campaign for Yes on 7A. We have several different individuals with us from across the region, from a diverse spectrum of stakeholders and shareholders in the interest for water in Western Colorado. I think you'll soon see why we feel that of all the ballot initiatives that you're going to see this November, 7A is absolutely the most important ballot measure that you'll be weighing in on when it comes to Western Colorado and Western Colorado interests, and why we would hope that you will vote yes on 7A. And with that, I would like to hand off to Commissioner Sue Hansen from Montrose. Sue, this is your show.
Great. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Thank you all for attending today. I'm Sue Hansen, and I represent the Friends of the Colorado River District. I represent Club 20. I'm a board member, and I'm also a Montrose County Commissioner. As you all know, water is vital to the Western Slope way of life, from recreation to agriculture to our environment. Nothing is as critical to our area as water, but our access to clean, reliable water resources is in danger. Due to declining revenues, fires, and demands from downstream consumers, including cities from the Front Range and states in Nevada and states like Nevada and California, the Western Slope's waterways have never been more overtaxed and underprotected. That's why this group is here today, to strongly urge the voters of Western Colorado to vote yes on ballot question 7A, which would give the Colorado River District the resources it needs to ensure we have clean drinking water, access to healthy waterways for agriculture and irrigation, and conserve this resource that is so central to our way of life. The Colorado River District needs additional support to continue to properly serve residents and conserve our Western Slope water, which voters can provide by voting yes on 7A. Access to water is a make or break issue. Western Slope families and residents, and question 7A is the best way to protect the future of our communities. If we want to continue enjoying life as we do on the Western Slope, we must have someone taking care of our water supply, protecting it and caring for it so we can all benefit. And that someone is the Colorado River District. That's my reason for supporting 7A. And as you can see, we have several other people who would like to weigh in and tell you why the 7A is a critical ballot issue on the docket today, or for November. And I want to turn this over to Tom Alvey. Tom Alvey is the founding member and president of the Rogers Mesa Fruit Company. He's also president of the North Fork Water Conservancy District and co-chair of the Gunnison Basin Roundtable. Take it away, Tom. We can't hear you.
Turn on audio.
Here we go. Can you hear me? Thanks. I'm Tom Alvey. I'm from Delta County. I grow fruit outside of Hotchkiss. I'm also the Delta County representative on the Colorado River District Board. And the River District has been fighting to protect the West Slope water rights for more than 80 years. And there's still real threats and challenges to our water use. From thirsty cities on the Front Range, downstream states that want more water out of the Colorado River, and even water speculators on the West Slope. There are increasing demands on our resources. So more than ever, we need the River District to defend our water uses. But the River District is pinched by declining tax revenue. We have less funding to do more work. And that's why it's important to pass 7A to give the River District the ability to continue its good work. As a fruit grower, everything I do, everything I grow is dependent on water. With the drought conditions we face, agriculture needs to protect and conserve every bit we can. And we need the help of the River District to do this. The best protection for our water resources is to use them wisely. To do this, we need to maintain and improve our infrastructure of dams, canals, and on-farm delivery systems. Doing this costs money. It's time the West Slope has its own source of funds for water projects. We need to be able to match and leverage state and federal funds to do the projects we have to keep our water flowing. The cheapest and best water supply is what we already have, but we can't neglect the infrastructure that holds that water. So a vote for 7A protects our West Slope water and helps keep agriculture alive. A no vote dooms us to declining protections for our water and risks the loss of agricultural production in our area.
Good.
Thanks. Sue, who's next?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I didn't realize I was the host, but let's.
Oh, you're all
turn it
right,
over
Sue.
Brad,
Okay,
who's
thank
next?
you.
Actually, if you don't mind, Matt Rice with American Rivers is on, and I think it would be great to hear from Matt and his standpoint for the protection of the river.
Great. Thanks, Brad. I'm Matt Rice. I'm the Colorado River Basin Director with American Rivers. We're a conservation organization, and we strongly support 7A. The Colorado River has never been more at risk than it is now. We're in our 20th year of drought. There's pressure from cities outside of the basin. There's pressure from states outside of Colorado. The Colorado River is critically important to the West Slopes way of life. It's critically important for agriculture, and it's critically important for recreation. In the Gunnison Basin alone, river-based recreation drives an $879 million annual economy. It's critically important. So I encourage everybody to vote yes on 7A. This is an issue that is supported across the board, from conservation organizations like American Rivers to agricultural associations to municipal water providers. We're all in this together, and we have to pass 7A.
Matt, thank you very much. I think Representative Catlin had to step off for a second, but I'd like to actually go to Commissioner Roeber and then to Molly Mugglestone with Business for Water, if that would be all right. So Commissioner Roeber.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me on this. I would want to clarify why Delta County is supporting 7A. Agriculture in our county is still probably our main focus of our economy. And in our master plan, which we just completed a year ago, it continues to be the focus of the majority of the people that we protect our agriculture. And in doing that, since we are in a semi-arid, or might say an arid state, we cannot do that without irrigation. And that, in that respect, the Colorado River is critically important to our livelihoods, our way of life, and just trying to meet our master plan goals of protecting and enhancing agriculture in Delta County. And the River District is our voice and the vehicle in achieving that. So I fully support 7A. And, you know, we have to find the ways to protect our water, but also improve the efficiency and start rebuilding some of the infrastructure that we've gotten way behind on. That's a lot of what we talked about at the Gunnison Basin Roundtable, which I am a member of that for Delta County. And so with all those measures, you know, the dollars get stretched thinner and thinner, and the only way we can do that is to start helping ourselves and get that funding where it can be used locally with local decisions, and that's through 7A and the Colorado River District.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I appreciate that, and especially that perspective from the County of Delta. We talk about this, and obviously we look at recreation, we look at agriculture, and we look at the business community. And one of those people that knows more about that than anybody else is my friend Molly. Molly Mugglestone with Business for Water has a unique perspective, and if you'd be able to share a little bit of that right now, we'd be appreciative.
Sure, thank you. I'm Molly Mugglestone. I'm the Colorado Director and Communications Director for Business for Water Stewardship. We work throughout the Colorado River Basin. As Matt mentioned, we track recreation spending in the state, and our new study that just came out a couple months ago shows that almost $19 billion is generated in economic output in the state of Colorado by people recreating on or near rivers. But we also work with the corporate sector as well, and we've really been able to bring some dollars to some of the projects that the Colorado River District is also working on the West Slope. We've been able to contribute to the 15-mile project with Swire Coca-Cola and other funders. And we're just really supportive of 7A. We think it's critical to bring those dollars to the West Slope and to those projects that do all of the things that all of us care about, improve the infrastructure that's needed, save and protect ag, contribute to healthy rivers, contribute to our drinking water supplies, react and respond to wildfires. So I think the business community at all levels, whether it's the outdoor industry and chambers, we work a lot with Club 20 as well, and the producers and Talbot Farms. And so across the spectrum, I think healthy rivers just contribute to our economic well-being across the West, and particularly on the West Slope.
Thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. I'd like to pivot now for our last two speakers. Representative Catlin has definitely a unique perspective on where this comes from the state, and also what it is like to advocate for the concerns of water in Western Colorado. And then we'll go to Christian Reese, who knows full well what it is like to definitely stand and protect the waters in Western Colorado. So Representative Catlin, if you would.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me today. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. You know, my whole life's been spent with water in some way or another, either running it down the ditch or trying to talk about it in regards to some of our urban cousins who would really like to have a lot more of what we have, and don't have any idea what this will do for them or what it's doing for us right now. One of the things I want to mention is that the Colorado River District is probably one of the best examples of government that we have in the state of Colorado. It's an efficient, effective way of doing things. If you take a look at the staff for the River District, we have less staff members than a lot of these water companies that are in the municipalities have as attorneys. We do things on an efficient and effective way of doing things. We're out there. If you want to talk about the story of David and Goliath, you're talking about the Colorado River District. We take on Southern Nevada. We take on the Denver water. We take on whoever it is that shows up in our basin thinking that they should have more of what we have. I want you to know that I'm proud of the Colorado River District. They've done a terrific job of protecting Colorado River water since 1937 when we were formed. This will give us an opportunity. And when I say us, I'm the Montrose County representative on the director. I'm a director in the River District for Montrose County. I've watched what these folks do. I've listened to some of the attorney-client privileged conversations that we have nearly daily in some cases. These folks are doing the job. They're out there, they're putting the rubber on the road. They've done some amazing things. You know, one of the things that's happening in the western slope of Colorado right now is we're starting to pipe and line ditches and laterals. That's the quickest and easiest way that I know of conserving water in western Colorado. It's also the best investment and return on investment for the state. That will help us be a lot more effective and a lot more efficient and be at the table when we start talking about conservation. We don't want the other states in the basin, and we don't want the other side of the mountain driving the conversation or setting the agenda when it comes to western slope water. And the Colorado River District is there at the table. They are carrying this conversation to those people and saying, this will work, this won't work, this is where we need to cooperate, this is where we really cannot go any further. They know their job, and they do their job daily. I want you to know that I'm proud of the people that are there. This would be the best investment that western Colorado can make. From the time it started until now, These folks have not had an increase in revenues. So today is the day for us to do that, because Colorado water is getting to be more and more on more people's minds. So this 7A, in my opinion, may be the most important thing that we vote on in Western Colorado for our local communities. There, you know, there's 15 counties that are in that district, but we represent the Colorado River. And the Colorado River is everything to the state of Colorado. Look at how much water is shipped to the other side. Look at what we do with it as we take care of that resource here on this western slope. I don't know if I can impress upon you well enough that this is probably the best piece of legislation that we could have come up with in thinking about the future of Colorado River water for the state of Colorado. And it's, you know, if you take a look at some of the details and the facts, we're going to be putting money into projects rather than more bureaucracy. That's a promise that the district has made. This is a good one. This is a good form of government. This is a good piece of legislation. This is what the western slope of Colorado really needs to be thinking about. I hope that the people that hear me will realize that this is a yes vote from me.
Representative Catlin, thank you very, very much for that. I appreciate it. And now I'd like to turn to the executive director with Club 20, somebody who knows all too well what it's like to deal with the challenges that we have in Western Colorado and across the diverse spectrum of those communities in Western Colorado. So Christian Reese, if you would please share with your perspective on 7A.
Well, thanks, Brad, and thanks for including us in this extremely important press conference today. One of the issues that Club 20 was founded on was protecting Western Slope water. Water is fundamental and indispensable to vibrant economies and healthy communities, anchoring the assets that make Colorado unique and provide our competitive advantages. It's vital to the Western Slope way of life. As a nonpartisan organization tasked with representing Western Colorado, Club 20's roots have been nourished with the Western Slope water for nearly 7 decades. During this time, we've witnessed numerous attempts to divert or curtail West Slope water, and we've worked diligently with our partners at the Colorado River District to ensure that West Slope water stays on the West Slope. We are excited to be able to be here today to lend our support for ballot measure 7A, a measure that will enable the Colorado River District to continue to prioritize productive agriculture, infrastructure, healthy rivers, watershed health, and water quality, conservation, and efficiency. This measure will allow the River District to have additional resources to fight for West Slope water, protect agriculture, and protect sustainable drinking water for our West Slope communities. With state funds increasingly under pressure because of the state's budget problems, the inherent vulnerability of severance tax revenues, Club 20 supports establishing adequate, stable funding to support and maintain the protection and preservation of West Slope water. As you can see here today, water is not a partisan issue. It is an urban-rural issue. The demand for water is the greatest where the population is the most dense, but the supply is here in the rural parts of our state. We must balance the increasing demands from the Front Range with the economic, environmental, and agricultural prosperity that water brings to our region. Simply put, water is the lifeblood of Western Colorado. So we're asking you today to join us to help fight to protect our water source and vote yes on 7A.
Christian, I thank you very much for that, and appreciate all of our participants today very, very much. I think it's quite obvious why so many people from so many different spectrums across the Colorado River District have come together to say that we need to vote yes on 7A. You'll see a lot more from this group and other coalitions along with us, especially from Friends of the Colorado River District, the committee that is really heading this up. If you want more information, you can always go to the website on yeson7a.org. That's yeson7a.org. And we'll be happy to help out and see if you want to get involved or do whatever we can to answer any questions. but we do appreciate everybody's involvement, and we thank you for voting yes on 7A this year. That will conclude this press event for this morning. Thank you.